there is so much of talent that is there within your workforce. Can you leverage their talent to maybe create video content, which can then be used to motivate, to create the same approach of social media, but done internally to drive employee engagement? I think that's another beautiful way of using videos.
Hello and welcome to Master of Comms, the podcast for transformative communication straight from the pros. Today, we're going to be discussing the potential of videos as a leading medium of communication in 2024. I am Krusha Sejwani, co-host of Master of Comms and Director of Asia at Sociable. And today, I'm accompanied by our guest, Asha Panicker, Independent Consulting, Content Marketing and Strategic Communication. Asha, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Krusha. So glad to be doing this podcast with you.
Thank you so much for being here. Asha, maybe before we dive into the topic for the day, would love if you can tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Sure. Hello, listeners. I am Asha Panicker, an independent consultant working with founders and their executive teams on content marketing and corporate communication strategies. The writer in me and marketer in me then got fully activated 10 years ago. And that's when I started working with Lokmat as a consultant writer for their annual English publication. And then I joined AgroStar, one of India's leading agri-tech companies, to lead their content vertical and eventually the corporate communications vertical as well, and served there for almost 7 years. My last stint as a content marketer was at Kpoint, a SaaS-based product company. I head their content and corporate communications.
Wow, that's very rich and diverse experience, Asha. And we're, of course, going to be going into a lot of it in the episode today, especially on your experience with video, both at Kpoint and your previous companies. So before we spend the rest of the podcast doing that, would love to fast forward to today, and maybe you can tell our listeners a little more of what you are doing as an independent consultant today.
Content, as we all know today, is the bedrock of effective communication. And content marketing is the strategic framework that delivers content effectiveness with better engagement, awareness, and impact. While creating content has become fairly easier today, it's divided into two parts. There is one segment of enterprises and individuals that creates content but fails to drive it with strategy and effective storytelling. And then there's the other set of enterprises and individuals that creates limited or no content at all and is missing out on the power of content strategy and effective storytelling. So that's where I love to collaborate with leaders and executive teams across verticals to drive better business outcomes with content that matters and strategic communications through proper planning, fusing good strat in it, be it content for internal audiences or for external audiences. I believe that every brand has a unique pulse and a journey it has taken to become a thriving business and a brand. And not everyone leverages the power of unique storytelling to support their brand visibility, their legacy, and their successful existence. I love to work with brands on their storytelling to highlight their potential and true impact.
Thank you, Asha. I'm sure that little note helps people who are looking for exactly this find you. And now with that, we can get more into video as a subject. I think firstly, going into the topic, there's no one better, as you exactly said right now, with the experience you have with content, with the experience you have with video, and the experience you have within the startup space. I think no better than you for today. So let's start with understanding just the various ways video is even being used today, right? Because it's such a large topic.
Right. So see, videos, we all know that videos are powerful today. And when we talk about videos, what flashes in front of our eyes first as video content consumers are videos that we watch on Instagram, on YouTube, or videos that keep coming on our phone, or the movies that we watch, especially on OTT. And if we were to think of videos at our workplaces, the videos that would flash in front of our eyes would be the corporate videos, celebration videos, training videos, and product videos that are created. But what's interesting is that videos today have gone beyond pure entertainment or just from a purpose of sharing information. Videos today are being looked at as a means for business communication to replace or support long-form text. I think that's where the beauty of videos are coming out. As we all know that attention spans are reducing, videos are helping to bring better ROI for activities like lead generation, for customer, employee, and partner onboarding and engagement, customer education and support, or to drive engagement on apps and the website for better community management and experiences. And these use cases are applicable to both internal as well as external business communication. And in terms of statistics, these use cases are applicable to both internal and external business communication.
Lovely. I think what you put there, Ashan, that's what makes it so valuable to have you here. I think the first part that you described as video is what everyone's familiar with. And now in the business communication, it's what people are getting familiar with. And that's where your expertise would really help. So maybe since today our focus is also really understanding where video stands in internal and employee communication, could you maybe elaborate a little bit on the use cases there?
Yeah, sure. From an internal communication perspective, the shift to use more videos for internal communication will be a progressive change for organizations. And there are multiple use cases with videos that can create massive impact when you talk about internal communication. For example, from a people practices perspective, videos today are more powerful and engaging as a medium to disseminate your company vision, your goals, your culture, thought leadership from founders and other CXOs. This can be used while onboarding your new employees and can also be helpful to keep your existing employees motivated. Videos also help better in information dissemination of policies and compliances like your POSH training, IT security and guidelines, your code of conduct, or your DEI or ESG initiatives. So typically, this content currently exists in the long form format in your 10-15 slider decks, which can easily be replicated into visually more engaging videos that will keep your audience hooked onto the content and not you make them bored of what's going out. Also to note that this content is pretty important, like your POSH training and security guidelines and code of conduct. These are all important content pieces that have to be consumed. So videos definitely make a huge difference there. Also from an employee engagement perspective, more and more organizations, as I see, are now considering short reel type videos to drive motivation, employee engagement, and promote culture within the organization. There is a great opportunity that I feel can be optimized in terms of identifying internal creators within the organization for various topics. It could be you could have fitness champions, you could have creative champions, you could have motivational speakers. There is so much of talent that is there within your workforce. Can you leverage their talent to maybe create video content, which can then be used to motivate, to create the same approach of social media, but done internally to drive employee engagement? I think that's another a beautiful way of using videos. For all you know, you can have your own influencer community within your organization to boost content creation and drive employee engagement through knowledge sharing. And the beauty of videos is that some of these videos can also be used for external communication on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and the company website to promote the culture of the organization for talent acquisition. And finally, I think there's a huge opportunity with video communication in terms of using your internal meeting recordings and strategic communications to convert them into knowledge management videos. There's a very popular McKinsey Global Institute report that indicates that a robust knowledge management system in an organization can reduce information surge by as much as 35% and raise organization-wide productivity by 20 to 25%. So if we look at the amount of internal strategic discussions that happen on a daily basis today, and the fact that today they are only getting summarized in text form, MOMs, which hardly anyone is interested in reading or referring to, there's a huge opportunity in tapping this information in a more creative manner and making it available through a knowledge management system that stores and makes audio files and video files available for smarter communication, for better collaboration and productivity. Eventually, there's a potential to substantially decrease the effort required by employees to learn and relearn processes and follow strategies. Also, the loss of information when a knowledge leader or legacy employee exits the workforce can be better managed through a knowledge management video that's powered by audio and videos.
And such wrong examples, Asha. Especially, I think the employee advocacy example you gave is so beautiful. I've seen that come to life. Using video to leverage and create advocates internally and then leveraging that externally is such a powerful way for business communication. I'm going to get a little greedy here because I think you've already made it so much clearer and I think we can go one step further. I'm going to use the storyteller in you. I know you've done some incredible work with videos already, right? Yourself with concrete examples. Could you take us just through one or two of them to understand practically how this could work?
Sure. So I have, a couple of good examples to share, live examples of what people are doing. Using my own example. So during my stint at AgroStar, I had set up the video content team in 2017 as video content was really picking up pace. And while the original objective was to use videos as part of the content marketing strategy for brand building on YouTube and to drive better engagement on the AgroStar AgriDoctor app, which is an app used by farmers. In terms of leveraging content, there was a huge scope because we were creating videos in Hindi, Marathi, and Gujarati. And because it's agriculture, it's a visual treat to make videos in agriculture. So that's how the original objective was. However, what we realized was as and how we started creating videos, especially for farmer success stories and for the testimonials received from farmers, the impact of video communication was immense because that was genuine content that was coming straight from the heart of farmers that was driving motivation to another level, especially because the mission statement at AgroStar is helping farmers win. The storytelling coming straight from the heart of farmers was really, really impactful for all of us internally to increase the drive and passion to keep building and keep doing things that we were doing at AgroStar. These videos soon became an accepted and default form of communication internally for our town hall and key business meetings too. In fact, I had used a video trailer to launch the culture revamp. And post our culture revamp exercise at AgroStar, our HR head had actually invested significant efforts in creating videos for each of the new 13 culture values that was created using leaders who had championed those values. So it was a brilliant strategy. And these videos continue to be useful as an internal communication asset at AgroStar today. And I think what matters the most is because the leaders also believed in the new culture values. And since we had picked up the champions for each of those values, the content, the storytelling just came naturally to them. They didn't really have to put an effort to mug up something or say it just came naturally and we could capture that. That I think made these videos powerful in terms of thought leadership. So far, I think AgroStar has done a wonderful job in terms of their investment in videos. There may be easily more than 15,000 videos created today at AgroStar. And from outside today, I see that they continuously invest efforts in creating reels out of their town hall meets, festival celebrations, and employee engagement activities that promotes the internal culture and vibe of the organization. So that I think they've done a great job at leveraging the power of videos. And during my last stint at K Point, what I observed is that K Point has some amazing brands as clients in the BFSI sector, in the ITES sector, and they're all already using videos for internal as well as external communication, including videos for L&D and knowledge management. So specifically for internal communication, I've seen the most common videos being the process training, security, and post compliance training in video format. These videos, which are typically long due to the nature of the content, have interactivity included in the form of quizzes and assessments that keep viewers engaged. Apart from this, executive address and keynote messaging to new employees are being used to engage and inspire employees to connect with the organization vision and goals. And I think the beauty is that the deep data analytics of the platform gives insight into user-based content consumption that drives fulfillment of compliance on these videos. This data is then used for content repurpose and content refresh by these organizations. Then another way in which organizations are using videos are the event recordings that include strategic communication by the leadership, town hall presentations, and quarterly updates. They're all being stored securely on the cloud. And then they are being converted into videos with automatic chapterization, transcription, multilingual transcriptions, video titles, tags, text summaries, and automatic short reel creation from long videos. These are then shared with the internal audience through emails or intranet or in presentations. I've also had the opportunity to pitch video newsletters with interactivity, which is another innovative form of internal communication, which can really be published in a video format and that to an interactive video to communicate your key updates with the internal workforce. I think the biggest advantage with videos is the standard communication being managed more effectively as compared to creation of decks and maintaining them. So this is a fresh approach now being used for internal communication using videos and video technology, especially for internal communication. And then data just makes it beautiful. And then you can think of content refresh and content repurpose so easily with it.
You've convinced me, Asha. So I'm convinced that video is definitely here to stay. But what does that mean? Are we bidding adieu to all other formats, or how do they work alongside video?
Not at all. So I will never completely rule out text content, short or long format, because we all know devil is in the details, and that fine print is essential as well. However, it is important to include videos as part of your content marketing and communication strategy. So if you don't have videos as part of your strategy today, your strategy is definitely outdated. So wherever there is too much of text or detailed information to be shared, supporting it with videos will always give much better ROI and engagement, and also create much better impact is what I feel. So both text and video can go hand in hand. So, today videos can be long or short. There are also different forms, like you could have a live short video, animation video, motion graphic videos, depending on what do you want to convey, in what tone, in what seriousness. So there's a whole lot of creativity in videos also that can make communication more engaging and guarantee better reception of communication.
Asha, I want to just pick your brain further. I know you've given us a tease of what K-Point is doing with videos, but there is a lot of mention of smart videos. So I'm just wondering, where does that go? What is the elevation in videos there?
Smart videos is a term that I keep using. I have been using it for the last 1 year, and I use it for the conversational videos that are getting created with video technology. So, just like TVs became smart TVs, phones became smartphones, videos today have become smart videos, and it's amazing. So, while we all know videos as a one-way form of communication where we are just watching it and absorbing some content, smart videos are two-way conversational videos where video technology allows you to embed multiple interactive elements in a video. So they could be your call to action buttons, they could be forms, they could be links that can be redirected to websites. You could also add PDFs for download while you are watching the video, or you can add calendar interactivity to set appointments right from the video. And you can also include text input fields to collect data as some examples. So while you are watching video, if you're convinced and if the video convinces you to engage and interact, you can just interact with these options that are available on the video, and it becomes a two-way conversation. When an interactive video is sent along with the content, the viewer can choose to interact with the multiple interactive elements placed on the video. And the use cases that are associated with this are lead generation, customer acquisition, customer onboarding, upsell, cross-sell, L&D training, and customer retention as well.
Wow. It sounds like we're just touching the tip of the surface there, and there's probably a whole other conversation required to delve deeper into smart videos. And I'm sure a year from now, it's
Absolutely.
going to be a whole different conversation as well. Thank you for the teaser there.
I call it the beyond video world.
I would agree. The explanation you gave definitely fits right into that world. Something else I'm interested in, Asha, because of course you said it as well, and I think there's no ignoring the fact that something that has finally come into internal communication is measurement, right? Which was lacking a lot. And I'm sure videos play a big role there as well. So what does measurement metrics look like when it comes to video?
Given the standard metrics for video, your CTRs, your view count, the engagement, how many likes did you get, how many reshares did you get, or how many comments did you get, play rate when you include videos on your website assets or in your app, the watch time, the average watch time, and the shares from your website or from your apps. These are the standard metrics when it comes to video. I think with interactive videos, the metrics go deeper and they include engagement with interactive CTAs, whether someone clicked or not. What are the drop off points? What is the geographical consumption of these videos? And what has been the response to interactivity? And you can then collect all this deep data and connect it to your personas, your audience personas who are consuming this content. And it helps you to then repurpose your content, refresh it, If required, add multilingual interactivity as well for better dissemination and better impact. These are the typical metrics that get better with video technology.
And I can see how helpful that would be, not just for understanding how that videos work, but to teach you what to do next time. I think that's so powerful. So, Asha, you've shared so many nuggets today, right? From what is already happening, from what you've done starting early on in one of the companies, much before video is taken off. If I'm someone who's listening in and I want to start using video in my internal communication, especially, what are your recommendations as an expert if I had to limit you to three?
This is a very important question, especially because we know that videos are a popular medium of communication today, and we better leverage the power of video. So, I think when you think of communication and content, it could be communication and content by any of the verticals within the organization. It'll be good to think video first as a strategy to stay ahead of the curve. Only when you think video first will you end up making some room for videos in your strategy. That is a good start to make videos as part of your communication strategy. Marcom teams, I think, will have to list down the do's and don'ts of content creation for employees, especially when you see that there's a lot of employee advocacy and culture promotion happening on social media and internal platforms. And it is important to drive transparency and your culture and your business goals as a strategy. So, and then there's a lot of content being produced at a rapid pace. Another thing is brand guidelines. So, extensive efforts have gone in brand guidelines, but I think many brand guidelines will have to be updated to include video content guidelines as well and define the protocols for it. That's one. Second, what I have observed in my experience is while we all understand the power of content, there's always a push to create content faster. And while it is possible if you have a good strategy and you plan it effectively, but you need to be patient with content creation because at the end of the day, your quality is important, your guidelines are important. You need to be patient with content creation and the returns as well. And you have to promote content strategy as a discipline to ensure that quality content and consistency and content refresh is considered. And finally, I think one big change in mindset that everyone can implement is it's important now to get comfortable in front of the camera and record videos. I do see many leaders do have their jitters the moment the camera is on and they're not comfortable to give out their best, whereas they all have it in their heart and their head. So it's important. Also, I feel today, but just like your Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel skills are like your default skills. I think it'll also be good if if all of us upskill ourselves with content creation tools like, say, Canva, for example, because it's important to note that our workforces today include more millennials and Gen Zs, and they love the language of visual communication. And they are excellent at using creative tools to make simple posters or videos. And the current generation in schools and colleges, I have two kids in school, so I know that the entire lot is already creating amazing content. And they use creative tools with so much ease that sometimes I feel not sometimes, I always feel that there's so much to learn.
I think some very actionable tips there as well, Asha. So thank you for keeping it so practical. I think a lot of it is things people can start doing today, like recording a video, basic, right? There's a lot more I could ask you, Asha, honestly, but I am going to pause here on our subject for today. However, before I do let you go, there's a question I love asking all our guests on Master of Comms. Can you share with us the title of a book or a movie that had a significant impact on you recently?
I love storytelling, so I thoroughly enjoyed the drama series on Netflix One Day for the beautiful storytelling and unique narrative style. So I really liked it. It is beautiful. So I really enjoyed these in terms of storytelling.
I love the recommendation because it sounds like the storyteller in you probably has a good recommendation there. So I'm going to go look at that one. I haven't seen One Day. So thank you.
You'll definitely love it, Kushla.
I'm going to take your word for it. I have a feeling the way you were describing it sounded like I have something to watch there. So thank you. I was looking for a show and for everyone else who's listening probably. But also thank you so much, Asha, for answering our questions today in so much detail. I have got a lot of value out of it. And I'm sure everyone who's excited about video, which is probably a lot of everyone, has got something today.
Thank you for this wonderful conversation, Krusha. I'm glad to share lessons that I've learned in the last couple of years. and very, very happy to share it if people can find it helpful and useful.
Thank you, Asha. This was Master of Comms, the podcast for transformative communication, straight from the pros. Find us here for the next episode. See you soon.